Hey guys, welcome to linguamarina. Today we're going to talk about improving vocabulary, and I'm going to suggest a study plan that I use myself as a non-native speaker, as a person who spent 6 years living in the US, doing business in the US, raising venture capital in the US, speaking at conferences, emceeing events. I still learn new words every single day. It's an endless process, but once you master it, once you create a routine to learn new words, it's going to become an enjoyable process. So today I'll share some of my tips and tricks with you. English is the language that I use every day. I'm originally from Russia, but I also learned German and Italian. So I've been using these techniques for a while now. And I want to start with a really cool example. A word that I've learned yesterday, I'm going to remember it forever just because sometimes Americans come up with words on the go. And this is the first time I've heard this word. And I'm pretty sure you don't learn these words at school and you won't find them in a textbook. And I'm pretty much sure that most of the teachers would not teach those words. But the problem is, native speakers don't care about the way English is taught. They just invent words on the go. So yesterday, I've heard a word, friendier. I'm going to explain it to you so that you can learn this word and also another word that it's derived from. So there is a term, NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And I was at a meeting with a venture capital firm and I was meeting other startups. So those startups were talking about their plans and they were like, we're gonna start this new product, but it's a secret. Have you all signed an NDA? So basically an NDA is an agreement that you sign before a meeting or before a presentation. And basically you agree to not share information from this meeting. The thing is, we haven't signed any NDA agreements, but the person who invited us told that startup that we were under a friendier. So basically, they just asked us as friends to not share this information with our friends or partners or colleagues. Friendier. Now, this is how I learned this word friendier. And because I have a situation, I have an association, I am 100% sure I'm gonna remember this word in 10 years. And I'm 100% sure I'm gonna use this word in my speech just because I've experienced this situation. And this is the best way you can learn. And because you heard this story from me, if you're interested in business, Silicon Valley, startups, entrepreneurship, you would probably remember this story, right? And you probably remember this word, but not only this word, you would also remember the term NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Isn't that all exciting? And this is my rule number 1 when learning new words. Try to find a story that will sit together with this new word in my brain. Just like this story I told you. Sometimes you will be like, but Marina, it's so hard to find these stories, right? One thing I really love doing is reading about how people actually invented that word. Where did it come from? And there is a really easy way to do it. For example, there is an idiom to take a rain check. You can go to Google and ask, where does the phrase take a rain check come from? And then you will find the story. The term originated in baseball. In the 1800s, spectators who attended games that were postponed or canceled because of weather could receive a check to attend a future game at no extra charge. And this way you would be able to connect history with the word's meaning. And I love it. I love it. If you ask me, Marina, what are the most fascinating aspects of learning a language? I would say, first of all, accents. Oh my God, I love them. I love exploring accents and the way people pronounce different words in different countries. Number 2, I would say definitely history. Where did this or that phrase come from? And number 3, probably culture. You know, how people react to different things, how they won't ghost you, or on the opposite side, call you a friend right after your first meeting. So this is all super exciting. And this is my rule number 2, guys. Just be excited. Make it as exciting as possible for yourself to learn English. Set goals. Print out images of what your life is going to look like in 2 years if you speak English at an advanced level. Like, where does that lead you? It's just gonna help you with your motivation so much. And I truly believe that everyone is capable of learning English and making it their instrument. It's just a matter of, being excited about it. Now, when it comes to defining your goals and dreams or whatever you call them, this is actually where you start. This is day number 1 if you're willing to create a study plan. On day number 1, you manifest your goals, you print out pictures, you imagine your dream life that you will start living once your English becomes upper, intermediate, advanced, whatever. On day number 2, or as the next step, you answer the question, where do I find useful vocabulary? And here you need to make sure that you understand your goals, right? Because if it's university admission and you need to take the GRE test, oh my God, good luck. The GRE is this test that you take in order to apply for master's programs in the US. And the thing is, it uses really complicated vocabulary, and there are textbooks with hundreds of words that you need for that test. There are books with words that you need for the TOEFL test, for your like if you need to take a test, make sure you know which test you're going to be taking. If you just need a particular level, you could Google, 100 intermediate level words in English, 100 advanced level words in English. And this is how you come up with a list of words that you would need to learn. My team and I is actually, my team at LinguaTrip is actually working on something super exciting to help you with this number 2 thing, but it's a big project, so it's gonna take a while, but I'm just getting you excited about it. Just stay tuned. It's gonna go live in hopefully March 2023, February 2000, we'll see, but stay tuned. I'm excited. A couple more resources that I would recommend for finding lists of words that you need to learn are websites like British Council or Vocabulary. Now, day number 3, you start learning those words. And you see how I divided all of your actions? I just don't want you to think that learning English is all about sitting down for a few hours. It's about making it part of your life. So it's maybe 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, as long as it's consistent, as long as you can do it every single day, just like my kid. She goes to this Kumon Japanese mathematics school, and they ask her to learn for 10 minutes a day, including holidays and weekends. And I think it's a great system. Every single day, every night, we sit down and complete exercises for just 10 minutes. Very low friction for your brain, because you're like, oh, it's just 10 minutes. I'm gonna be fine. It's not the whole hour. It's just the small period of time. So it's easier. 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, just make it a routine. I'm gonna share a couple of methods. And one of the methods that really works for me, I've started this video with this method, telling yourself a story, educating yourself about the history. Another resource that I would recommend is a website called youglish.com. You basically type your word or phrase in the search bar and listen to how native speakers use and pronounce it. This is a great way to experience a word in different ways, by reading it, by putting it in your list, by listening to native speakers pronounce it. And by the way, 5 words a day max. Don't do 1,000 words a day. I know I had a video on 1,000 words a day, but those words are very specific words. Like police, you probably have a very similar word in your language. But with all of the other words, 5 words a day. Do not overload your brain, please. And something that also really works for me is creating an exercise book and writing down the 5 words that you learn every single day, just to make sure you go back to them for at least a week or a couple weeks, to check back on them, to see whether you remember them or not, to check whether you've started using them or incorporating them in your speech. If you've ever taken a course with English with Lucy, what we did there, we teach you British and American vocabulary there, and we have tests after every class, at the end of each week, and at the end of the course. And we're testing the same words over and over again, just to make sure we create the spaced repetition. Now, the next day, you're gonna start your class with repeating the 5 words you've learned the previous day. And what you're gonna do is come up with new examples of using those words. And on that day, also learn, attention, collocations. A collocation is 2 or more words that often go together. For example, you've learned the word bond. Now, a collocation with this word could be bond market. And some dictionaries would actually provide collocations, and Longman is one of those dictionaries. So I would go to that dictionary and see how people actually use that word. Because sometimes you learn a phrase or a word and you're like, okay, sounds cool, how do I use it? So learning collocations is a great way to learn how to use this word with other words. So for example, if we look at the word bond in the Longman Dictionary, let's scroll down a bit and see a table with collocations. For a bond, it's a close, strong bond, a common bond, a special bond, to form, forge a bond, to strengthen a bond, to break, destroy a bond. This process makes it easier for your brain to remember the word, to remember how people use it, and to just feel at ease with this word, because sometimes you're like, oh, I know this word, but we're not friends. We're not friends. I'm not gonna use you in my speech just because I don't know how. Well, this is what collocations are for. The next day, you're gonna revise the 5 words. You're gonna reread your collocations, and you're gonna come up with sentences using collocations you learned the previous day. And here is a pro tip. If you attend a language school or you have English classes at your university or at school, bring your exercise book with the new vocabulary to the class to make sure that you actually start using those new words and impress other students and teachers. And the next day, you're gonna start repeating the process. You're gonna make a list of 5 new words that you're going to learn. The next day, you're gonna do collocations. The next day, you're gonna do sentences with collocations. How exciting is that? And you go on and on and on and make it your routine. So this study plan is more or less relaxed, just because I'm asking you for 5 new words every 3 days, because there's a process of remembering them. It's actually okay to do 5 words each day, but just make sure you repeat the steps for all of these words every day. It would just make the process more intense. It really depends on your goals. When I was preparing for my GMAT test, I learned a lot of words in a day, just because I had to. But the thing is, they don't stay in your long-term memory. They only stay in your brain for a short period of time. They're somewhere in the back, I know. But because I've never used those words, I only learned them for the purpose of taking the GMAT test. I know this is not really what I want, because I want to start using those words. I want to make my speech more vibrant, more advanced. So these days, I think I am learning maybe 5 new words each week, and I do that by writing them down, by trying to incorporate them in my speech, doing collocations, noticing when native speakers use them. And it's a process, it's a lifelong process. We live and we learn. This is one of the most exciting things about the language. You're always learning, and the language is changing. And there is no right or wrong. It's just an exciting process. And yeah, congratulations on choosing this path of making English part of your life. And if you follow this study plan for at least 30 days, you're gonna end up with at least 50 new words in your active vocabulary. Thank you guys so much for watching this video up to the very end. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this video with your friends who are also in the process of learning English. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, it's Maida from Colombia, and I just wanted to thank the linguamarina channel for the support and knowledge that provides to all English learners. It's really cool to find a channel where you can get the tools to reach your desired level, and what I like the most is that you can get a feel of how this language is truly used or spoken in the US, and this helps me to prepare for the trip that I will have to the United States. So speaking English, it's not unattainable. So keep going, and I hope God bless you all.
Hello Marina, I'm Alice from Vietnam. I'd like to thank you very much for being a great effort in my English career. Every time I watch your videos, I have a sense of motivation, and that's the reason why my English has upgraded a lot. So please keep making videos for English learners like me to improve our English levels. And one more time, thank you very much.
Hey Marina, hope you're having a good day. I'm Muskan from Pakistan. I'm a high school graduate, and I started watching your videos since last May, and then I scored 110 out of 160 in my Duolingo English test. Then I got into two American universities. Yeah. Actually started thinking in English, and my parents, they're also doing really well with their accents. I really wanted to appreciate your videos in which you say, stop saying I don't like it, use advanced words, it's not for me, I'm not crazy about that. These kind of videos, they are my favorite. And your collaboration with Lucy was just amazing. So I wanted to say how many people are watching Marina's videos. Please don't forget the consistency. Continue watching videos on daily basis. This is gonna improve your accents. So you all are able to break the ice. Thank you, Marina. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.